Welcome to Unsilent with your hosts Dave and Brian. This is not another current events podcast. We are digging deeper, diagnosing, and discussing what's really going on today, how we got here, and providing observations for future generations.
Welcome to Unsilent. We're Brian and Dave. We'd love to hear your feedback. Where did we get it right? Where did we get it wrong? What could we do better in interpreting how the world is working? And you can do that by going to unsilentpodcast.com. You can check out Rumble. We've got a great place for comments there. And also, of course, all your traditional social media channels like Facebook, etc. So happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, whatever
Merry
else. Merry Christmas, all of that
stuff. Yeah. There's a couple things that caught my attention this week. One of which, AI is like the thing now. So it's this big daunting thing. I think everybody kind of knows it's coming, and nobody has any idea what it's going to look like all at the same time. It's kind of my perspective on that.
That's fair, yeah.
But about a week ago, Trump signed an executive order federally protecting AI companies from state law violations. Now, this was in the big, beautiful bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people fought it, both sides of the aisle. We're not going to support that. So he needed the Republicans to come around, if I remember all the details correctly, and they nixed this part. So now he's just doing it through executive order, it sounds like. But it could be different laws. It could be different protections. I don't know. But I remember during the whole big, beautiful bill thing, there was a couple, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey. I think there might have been a few others who was like, we're not signing off on something that gives AI free reign to do whatever they want. The states can't do anything about it. And so they took that part out. And then the bill passed. And then, fast forward 6 months and here we are. So I think the interesting thing, we're talking to people who are alive 70 years from now. We're explaining to people in the future what it's like to live during this time. How would you describe the feeling about AI? And then we can get into this seems to me like a pretty massive blunder. I don't think there's any other way to say it. We should have all the AI of any responsibility to anybody except for 3 federal governments.
I mean, the whole AI thing, as a sort of a general, to answer your first question, is very much, they talk about bubbles and, is it all hype? I mean, it's not all hype. It's real. It's significant. It's going to change the world. It already is changing a lot of things in business and society. But the question about whether or not it's worth everything that is being put into it is, and all of the hopes and dreams, and I mean the entire valuation of the stock market is based on AI. It's not based on any data about AI. It's based on complete speculation that this is going to quintuple or geometrically increase our ability to have economic output.
Based on the notion that you're missing out on free cash if you don't get in. That's what it's based on.
Well, it is, and that's the evaluation of each of the Magnificent Seven. It's based on I mean, even the sort of ancillary AI companies. So Tesla, basically said, hey, we're going to do robo taxis, which he said over and over and over again, and now his stock went up again. So he's just repeating the same thing. So the entire stock market is, to my analysis, I'm not a stock market guy, so I can't say anything of any value there, but it looks to me like it's just all 100% hype. Now, you connect that with what the federal government is doing and what Trump in particular is doing with that. And there's a bunch of odd things like the one you just mentioned and that one just followed on the heels of Trump opening up the ability of NVIDIA to sell not their most leading generation chips, but the H200 chips, which are pretty advanced, AI computing chips to China. And the federal government then getting a cut of that action, which is fascinating to me. I've never seen the, government.
Well, and we bought a piece of, meaning the citizens of the United States bought a piece of Intel. Is that
Yeah.
right? Was it
Yeah.
Intel we
Yeah. We
bought
bought a
from?
piece of Intel in cooperation with TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, so that there could be chip manufacture in the US that, would otherwise take place in Taiwan. So I mean, you put all these things together and then protecting an industry, like the AI chip makers or the foundation model makers, who are all cozying up to the president right now.
Yeah.
And it all seems very smarmy and uh, very yuck. It doesn't seem like it's real business to me. I mean,
No, it does feel to me, I think you and I have established our opinion that Trump has an ego. Just to
yes,
catch you back up, Dave, refresh your
yeah, oh
memory.
yeah, there
We
is that,
agreed
yeah,
some time ago that he makes ego-driven decisions
yes,
sometimes,
yep,
and he's a New York guy, and so kind of therefore a billionaire who's then become is kind of a pseudo Wall Street guy. Like Wall Street's in New York, he's a
yeah,
billionaire. That's where the billionaires hang out. Like whatever. Okay. So the stock market seems to matter a lot to him as an indicator to show the world how awesome we're doing. Right
yes,
now, in my opinion, the current valuation of the stock market, a la 1929 or whatever, is completely disassociated from how the real world is working and how the
yeah,
real economy is working. All these
yep,
things, but if you look at a stock market chart and you see the S&P 500 going just crazy up and to the right, if you look at a similar chart showing the S&P 493, meaning this 493 stocks that are not part of the Mag 7,
right,
it's more of a it's going up some, but it's
yeah,
it's it's
pretty flat,
fairly close to a horizontal
yeah,
line, right?
yeah,
So if you're Trump and you have to, like, this is the indicator of how awesome we're doing, it seems like plausible that you would just pour everything into energy, meaning like your efforts, not energy like oil. Yeah, pour your energy into keeping those things propped up because look how awesome we're doing, right? This is
yeah.
he's a guy who likes to do that kind of thing. But it seems the more he does that stuff, the more he's removed from everyday people. And this AI thing is no different. The more, you know, nobody, none of us have decided who gets to be in charge of AI,
Right,
right? None of
right.
us, just like none of us decided that it was okay to take billions of mosquitoes and do some kind of engineering with mosquitoes and then release them into the wild. And none of
Right,
us decided it was okay to do these things where we're gonna block out part of the sun rays because we want to help global warming. Like
right.
none of us can decide any of this stuff, and we're just like plowing headfirst into all these things and nobody. It seems like nobody has control. If they do, they won't tell us,
Yeah.
and it just feels like we're just like blindly like going forward because of vanity metrics like the S&P valuation.
Well, everything is a vanity metric. No, this is exactly right. Everything is a vanity metric. The way that you judge governmental actions, it's all emotion. It's like, look how great we are. Look how wonderful we are. We're doing all these fantastic things. You could say, for instance, on the foreign policy side, that moving the Gerald, we talked about this last week, I think it was, moving the Gerald R4, the biggest ship ever built, biggest military ship ever built, into the Caribbean, is kind of like we're strutting our stuff. There's no
Yeah,
purpose for the most powerful aircraft carrier in history to be hovering around Venezuela. It's just like, what are they going to do? They're going to send some Cessnas after you or something. It's like, what's going to happen, right? So everything is all show, and you're right. The problem in the problem with AI is so much show, and his fear of missing out is childish motivations, childish emotional motivations. The whole stock market. I mean, I heard an interesting thing, I think it was yesterday, that the BYD is the Chinese electric car maker who
yeah,
ostensibly, and I'm not an expert in electric cars, but ostensibly they make as good, if not better, electric cars than Tesla does, and make them a lot cheaper. And the quality's there, on every objective measure. Apparently, they make better cars than Tesla does, but yet their value, you could fit 12, and they sell more of them too. They sell
yeah.
more of them than Tesla does. So they make a better car, they sell more of them, and you could fit 12 BYDs in terms of valuation into the stock price of one Tesla that's a
Right.
smaller company. So what is that? And it's Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And I'm not an Elon basher by any stretch of the imagination, just like I'm not a Trump basher. But all of these things are nothing more than smoke and mirrors and hype, and and just like AI valuations are pretty much smoke and mirrors and hype. Um, and of course that leads down a dangerous path, because eventually, as we've discussed many times over the years in our here, eventually reality catches up with you, and just physical reality and things like math and economics and
Yeah.
normal stuff eventually catches up with you.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the valuation part for me. It's like you and I are talking to somebody who's alive in the year, let's say 2090,
Yeah,
right? 2095. We're 70 years in the future. That's who you and I are talking to, explaining what it's like right now. And it feels to me like whoever might be listening to this podcast in 70 years is in one of two worlds. One where AI is just such a it's just such a part of like everyday life. Like we're like Stone Age people. Like, how could you get by without
right.
a robot in your house, like taking care of all your daily chores? Like, how could you even live like that?
Right.
Or it's a future where nobody's ever going to hear this because we're back in the Stone Age.
We blow it all up.
Right. So it's like Einstein said, I don't know, whatever, like 1948 or something like that. He said, or 1950, I think it was, somewhere in there. Um, I have no idea which weapons will fight the next world war, but I can promise you the one after that will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah,
uh, it kind of feels like it'll either be like so part of the world that like you and I having
yeah,
this confusion about what it's going to look like is going to sound odd.
right.
Um, so it's and like you talk about the valuations and like if you look at the math equations on how much it would take to in revenue and profit from these AI companies to make this capital expenditure they're doing worth it, the industry would have to grow something like 250x in
Yeah,
like 3 years to make it pencil. To
right,
justify these valuations and capital expenditures and investments, they would need to be doing, like, I think I heard 500 billion a year in revenue, and they're currently doing 20 billion a year in revenue.
right,
All right. Because OpenAI is like $7 a month or whatever it is, or
right,
$20 a month or whatever. So you're not gonna be able to charge more. You're gonna have to charge less to be competitive in that
right.
space. That's how it's right. So the math doesn't math. But again, if you're a trader or a stock trader, an investor, well, you have to do it because you're dumb and your money's not making anything if you're not. So
Right.
like you're just missing out. But separate from all that, who gets to decide these things? I don't even think it's the federal government. I don't think Congress is involved in this. I don't think it's the blob. I don't who gets to decide that we do these things and which path we're going to go, because we're putting a whole lot of trust in people who we can't even name, and there'd be no accountability if things went wrong.
Yeah, is there? Well, I guess that begs the question: is there anybody actually at the tiller of the ship, directing things? I mean, that's the question. I think is there anybody that's making decisions around this stuff, or is it just rush ahead? Everybody's just on the field, rushing towards a murky future, and hopefully it's got gold bars and not dragons, and we don't even know. I mean, so that's
Yeah.
and I would suspect the in a fourth turning place where we're at right now, institutions and structures, everything that's sort of kept us organized and kept the boundaries on society so that things don't blow up. All of those things are gone away. There's all of the institutional trust and the social boundaries, like men and women and stuff. It's all gone.
Yeah.
And so if all that's gone, then there's nothing but a gold rush mentality. If that's all that exists, then it's the luck of the draw. It's are we even going to make it? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it does. I watched the movie I, Robot last weekend, which I had not seen in, I don't know, 15 years or something like that.
Yeah,
And
the Will Smith one.
I'd forgot. I mean, I knew that there was a robot involved. I knew he was like a cop or something like that. But I forgot the plot. I'm like, I haven't seen it long. I'm gonna check it
Yeah,
out. But like most AI kind of movies, like the AI decides at the end that the real solution to humans' problems is to eliminate humans
yeah,
essentially, or restrict their movements significantly. And like, hey, if you guys, we're here to protect you, and the best way to protect you is to like remove all your freedom and ability to do anything because you guys are basically,
You're
monkeys that
nuts.
can't. You're emotional monkeys, basically.
Right.
Uh, um, but somebody is deciding what the guardrails are. Somebody is deciding what correct and accurate and honest is in the regard of it. Like somebody has to be making these decisions, and I don't know that we know who those people are. I don't know if anybody knows who those people are.
No, no. Well,
I
and
don't think
there's
it's Sam Altman. I don't think it's Congress. I don't think it's the CIA. I don't think it's China. I don't know who it is.
yeah, I think there's a bunch of people vying for being the one that speaks the loudest and with the most authority to get the most eyeballs and the most likes on social media and the most
Yeah,
retweets and all that. I think that's and so the ones that are making the rules might be different on Monday than they are on Friday and they are on
right.
Wednesday because now we're on a new hype cycle around the Blackwell chips or the new ChatGPT 5.2 which just got introduced or the new next Chinese model that was introduced that doesn't have these guardrails that the US models do. Just all these different things. So I think the who's making the decisions and who's kind of minding the store, I think it probably changes on a pretty regular basis. Then Trump and the administration jump in and say, "Hey, we're gonna do these things, and this is gonna direct things in an American way for AI because we want to dominate AI and yay us."
Yeah,
Okay, well, maybe for a while that we're the driving force in it, but then something else comes along, and we're no longer the driving force 2 weeks from now. So I
yeah,
do think there's just a bunch of chaos going on. It just seems to me.
yeah. And we seem to have done with AI what we do with everything, which is we immediately take a new thing and follow two paths. How can this be weaponized and how can this be sexualized?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Well, because
So
that's where the
we
money's at.
right. I mean, listen, you gotta sell what you got, right?
Yeah,
um, but if you look at the AI race between us and China, it's the exact same dynamic as the nuclear race between Russia and the U.S. in
sure,
1945. I
sure.
mean, the mechanics of how we're making decisions and the path we're following and the blind going, like it's all the same, and
Yeah,
it's like we have to win, otherwise they're going to dominate the world. Like
right.
that's the underlying premise. And then on the sexualized side, you got to make robots that dudes can have sex with, because otherwise how would you sell robots?
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, and you think about it, if you parallel it to the internet, people don't talk about this all that
Yeah,
much,
100%.
but it's, the amount of money that's sold on porn on the internet. I mean,
Yeah,
OnlyFans, just look at the respectable one, OnlyFans, right? And the amount
yeah,
of money that people make and, creators, they call them creators. And so, okay,
right.
they used to have a different term for that, but they
Yeah,
call,
they used to have a different term for that, peep show or something like that, right?
yeah, exactly.
So I
Those,
saw something. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. The gross revenue for OnlyFans compared to like a company that you and I would know, like Target, or it was not
yeah.
Target, but it was like a company like that, and it just dwarfed them in
Yeah, oh,
revenue. It was
exactly,
crazy.
exactly right. Because violence sells, sex sells, these
Yeah,
things that continue to motivate human beings. And also, I mean, for guys, it's like, you mean I can have everything I want in a woman and she's not going to say anything that I
yeah.
don't want her to say? It's like, well,
Oh no, Dave, no. Come on. Now it's just a matter of time until they have software you can upload so the robot abuses you. Like
well,
that's
yeah,
coming, right?
that's very. I'm sure it won't be very long. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a specific genre that people want to tap into, so to speak.
Yeah.
The analogies abound.
Okay, so I took us over the river through the woods, but we started out with Trump signing this executive order. So a couple questions for you. One is, am I think this is like just beyond foolish to
Yeah,
remove more accountability. But do you agree?
yeah,
A, do you agree with that? And B, where is this thing going? Who's running it? Who's in charge? Like, how is this going to unfold? I know it's going to change our world. I get that
yeah.
part. But like all the other things, what do you think?
Well, okay. So on the Trump executive order thing, yeah, I do think that him trying to monopolize decision-making power in the federal government around AI is a fairly dangerous thing. And cutting the states out, the 10th Amendment to the Constitution is anything that isn't specifically allocated to the federal government in the Constitution belongs to the states. So we get a few things over here as the feds. You states get everything else. So cutting the states out seems to be a violation in my mind.
They're just going to claim it's national defense. I mean, they'll
Sure. I
just do
mean, well,
that. Yeah.
you can justify you can justify anything that way. It's for public
Yeah.
safety. It's for national defense. It's what they're doing in Europe around their speech laws. It's it's for
Yeah.
it's for safe public safety, national defense. So I think and I also kind of think it's not gonna. I don't know that this EO is going to hold up in terms of is it really legal that the federal government takes that level of control. I just kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll end up seeing. Now I have been thinking recently about the current AI models and the hype versus the reality. A lot of the real like this new one that was introduced by 5.2 without getting too granular about this stuff. OpenAI is saying, "Oh, it's great at spreadsheets and it's great." So the use cases where we're told that AI is going to change the entire universe, and it probably will at some point.
Yeah.
But right now it's doing great stuff with spreadsheets for you. So I'm not sensing a 250 x improvement in the economic productivity of the United States as a result
Yeah.
of this anytime in the near future. I mean, so I think there is, I don't want to say there's a bubble, but I think there's more hype around it right now than
Say
is
it. There's a
justified.
bubble.
Yeah, well, and they're
But just like there was,
probably
listen, there was an internet bubble, and
yeah,
the internet has changed our world in ways that are arguably the biggest change in our lives. There's no
yeah,
question. But there was still a bubble when it first was, becoming
yeah,
a thing.
yeah. And there
Both
was in
those
the
things can be true. It can change our world, and it can be a bubble. Those are both can both be true.
Absolutely, because you're going to have the gold rush mentality at the beginning, and then it's going to settle down and become serious business over time, just like the
Yeah, I
gold
mean,
rush did, as a
well, and
example.
just like 1929,
Yeah,
RCA was the Nvidia stock of the day,
right.
and it went crazy. And did radio change the world? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it still a bubble? 100%.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I think that's where we're at right now with a lot of these. And I do think
Yeah.
there's a chance that maybe in this next year or so we're going to see maybe some cooling off. I mean, the in order to realize all the hype, there's got to be things that just don't exist. There's got to be, compute power well beyond where Nvidia's at now. There's got to be power generation capabilities. I mean, the US grid is not capable of maintaining
No.
even what we got now. I mean, the power goes out all the time everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
we're backwards. So I think that the theory is good, but I think the execution is going to take a heck of a lot longer than we originally thought it would. And so I think it's good
Yeah.
to be a little bit circumspect about that, and maybe not invest every penny in the Mag 7.
Well, and I also think that the conversation I hear about AI is, well, it's evolving and improving at a speed in which it's just compounding. It's getting faster and better and faster and better, and that's okay. And I get that. And again, I do think it's going to revolutionize how we do a lot of things.
Sure.
But the speed of implementation will not necessarily be based on the technology's ability. The speed of
Right.
implementation will largely be based on our tolerance for giving up human interaction for things like customer service and whatever. So
Yeah.
in home service industries like where I come from, people will talk to an AI bot to schedule an appointment for a HVAC tune-up. I
Right.
don't think they're ready to speak to a bot to explain why it's going to cost $14,000 to have a new HVAC system put in. I
Right.
don't think,
Right.
and I don't think we're going to get there in 6 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
I think AI is great for research. Like you hear all the time in like
Totally.
law and accounting and things like that. The research stuff, like, it's fantastic at
Yep.
that. Um, but the person who has to take that information that did the research on and explain it to the customer in a way that they can understand, I don't think we're ready for that.
That's right.
I think that's too big of a leap.
Well,
And then you have the
thing,
physical limitations on different industries and stuff like that as well.
and the other thing to keep in mind is I was just listening to one of my favorite podcasts on this topic earlier today, and he was talking about the this exact topic where you say, well, how is AI going to substantially in the next year impact our organizations, impact, the broad enterprise? And a lot of the study, there was, I think, a Deloitte study that said something to the effect of, most people are thinking about AI as taking something out of your current system and putting an AI agent in it.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing you could do, but that's not the full implementation of AI, because that's just taking existing human systems and sliding an AI in here and there, as opposed to saying that when AI is fully implemented, you're going to have systems that are designed around a full function artificial intelligence, not just so all of our systems, both governmental and in business and nonprofits, everything has got to be redesigned for this new way of doing things. And nobody really knows how to do that yet. It's all brand new.
The best application I've heard so far to date for what AI could do is to read all of the laws in the United States and point out all the conflicting laws. But I heard that one time. I've not heard it spoken about again. So I'm going to guess that's not near the top of the priority list for what AI can do for us.
Yeah, probably so. Well, because lawyers are still more powerful than AI. So there you go.
Yeah. And, Congress would have to do things. Like you can't have that.
Well, we can't have that.
We're not in the season of doing things right now.
Yeah, no, that's for 10 years from now.
All right, Dave. Well, anything else on the AI front?
No.
Stuff, I got things I got to get to today, so we're gonna have to wrap things up a little earlier today than usual.
All right.
Anything else on the AI front from your perspective? All right. Well, hey,
Nope.
as Dave said at the beginning, what we're doing is trying to explain to future generations what this moment in time is like to live through, and we'd love to get your perspective. And if you think there's something we especially got right or wrong, we'd love to get your feedback. You can do that at unsilentpodcast.com, or Rumble has a great comment section. Until next week, this is Dave and Brian signing off.
See you next week.
Do you want to be unsilent? Make your voice heard on our social media channels and share where you think we got it right or wrong. Go to unsilentpodcast.com for social links so you can join the discussion.